This is you. This is future you in about 9 months. If you change, everything around you will too. The HVAC program at SBB College in Bakersfield can help you start your career in about 9 months. With hands-on training, flexible schedules, and job placement assistance, you can change what makes sense and start achieving your career goals. Change your position in about 9 months. Do it today. Call SBB College at 661-831-8017 to get started. Classes start soon.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody. That was Maxwell's A Woman's Work. And this is Raw But Real, 613. It is so great to be here on tonight, and I am Tlssah. I'm your host for tonight's show. I am just so happy to be here with all of you, and thank you all so much every listener for continuing to follow Raw But Real 613. Thank you for tuning in again with us on tonight. We really do appreciate our listeners. And our goal is to keep bringing you raw conversation with real situations. And tonight is no different. So on tonight's show, we have a remarkable young woman who has taken her experiences and turned them into fuel. I call it fuel because it ignites other women. And she shares her struggle, and she's not afraid to share her struggle of growth, and most of us can't do that. But I'm really excited to have the opportunity to speak with this woman. She is the author of a #1 book called Emotional Hustler. She is also the founder and coordinator of the Free Movement. It's a movement for women. This woman has turned her experiences into a powerhouse of information and guidance for young sisters of every age, creed, and culture. This is why I love this woman. I mean, she has definitely not taken the situations that she's gone through and crawled into a hole, but she decided to allow it to make a change, not just in her life, but in everyone's life that she could come across. And Raw But Real has her right here tonight with us. Her name is Laura Thomas. Hi, Laura. How are you?
I am doing very well. Thank you very much for that intro.
It's so good to talk to you again. I'm so happy that you're here with us on tonight.
I'm very excited to be here tonight and finally be able to speak to people I don't know. I love doing that most of all.
That's good. So tonight you're going to have a chance to do that, and I'm so excited. I mean, we talked a little bit, and you told me, some things about you, and I promise you, I have been so excited about your life ever since. I mean, there's so much, of course, that you wasn't able to share with me as yet, but I'm excited for this opportunity tonight because I'll have a chance to hear some things that you're going to share right along with our listeners for the first time. So if you don't mind, I'd like to first ask you one question. Would you please explain to the listeners what the Free Movement stands for?
Well, yes. Okay. I made this up a long time ago, and it's been hard for me to say, just to write out, but now it just slips off the tongue now. So the Free Movement, the free means talented hustlers, enlightening females, respectfully empowering entrepreneurs.
Wow. That is deep. So what does that mean to you, and what would you like for it to transcend to the listeners?
Well, first off, hustling is such a bad word. People look at it as in bad, street hustling, emotional hustling, but we tend to forget we all hustle every day. I hustle to get to the end of the street on my bike because I bought a bike and it's uphill sometimes and it's a struggle. It's a hustle to get to that end of that street, and I want to get there. So everything is a hustle. If you have young kids, you hustle to get their food in an appropriate time because bedtime is 8 o'clock. And if you get off work at 6, it's hard to get that food cooked at an appropriate time. So we all hustle. So first and foremost, I am a hustler. I was born a hustler. I believe some of us with ambition and drive in our lives and dreams, we're all hustlers. We just don't tend to know the good side of that word hustling. So that's what that means to me is I find them. I meet women every day. I meet people every day that I think are amazing people. I save every motivational speaking post that I have on my Facebook because I just wish to revisit them and tell them, come out and speak for my girls now, because those are the motivational posts that I enjoy listening to. So I just, with the Free Movement, that's what we want to do. We have a different word to tell everybody. Everybody is different. Everybody's had a different walk of life. Everybody's went through different pains and struggles. Some people can handle pain and struggle a little bit harder than others. So I find them, and then I tell them, link up with me. Let's build something, wonderful together and get somewhere in life.
Beautiful. And I love the analogy that you used speaking about the word hustling, because it's true. We hustle every day one way or another. And I'm so happy that you brought that out the way that you did, because that way everybody could understand that word, and it doesn't become the dirty word that people have envisioned it to be, because it's not.
Yeah. If we teach kids the correct, appropriate ways of looking at hustle, we'll raise so many more entrepreneurs. On my website, I have our young entrepreneur kids. I worked in flea markets, and I see them. They go to school Monday through Friday, but Saturday and Sunday, they're building their family's business with their family. They are our young entrepreneurs. So, I really pay attention to our young hustlers. I see them every day, and, that hustle can turn bad if it's not, taught a positive light to it. There's so much negativity out there. It's hard to teach positive when there's so much negativity.
Wow. Excuse me, and that's true. It's about channeling that energy, because we know the young people have a lot of energy, and it's about channeling that energy. And again, I love the way that you use that analogy of the word hustling, because it's important that our children do learn to hustle. That means to work hard for what you want, work hard for what the goals that you desire to achieve. So in the free movement, tell me some of the different functions that this movement has. I know that you just now spoke about the fact that, you have a platform for people to be able to come out and to speak to the sisters, the young women, the young ladies. And I know that you told me earlier that you just opened up a section for the young girls and young guys. Am I correct?
Yes. Well, because of all of our house ladies, those are the ladies who keep in contact with all of the free movement ladies, make sure that they have all their assignments and if they're interested in assignments or not. And those ladies have kids. So I told moms, why don't we include your girls in? I might need some photo shoots with some little girls in it. We'll teach them the way of the free movement, and then we'll be raising these girls as entrepreneurs and raising them with positive energy and everything. And then we were doing photo shoots with the little girls, and the little boys were in there, their brothers, and I did not have the heart to tell the little boy to get out the picture. So I kept him in it, and I announced that day that we would be starting a Mr. in it as well. And I told the story about how he was a little brother, and I just couldn't ask him to get out.
But that's good, because we have to get them while they're young. This is when they're most impressionable. They're watching everything, they're soaking in everything, and you want to be able to direct that information that they're getting into the right direction.
Yeah. All of my careers growing up in my life have been moving for me, jobs that I felt just, needed somebody like me in that field. So I've been an event coordinator. Believe it or not, event coordinators are therapists as well, because a lot of jobs that event coordinators have deal with little kids. So every job I've ever done, I've been doing that more healing, not just educational, but whole healing. Like I get different ages with what I've done in my career choices in my life, and I've dealt with adults and kids and senior citizens and all of them, no matter who it was, whatever job I did in life was always surrounding helping in other areas other than what my job was required for me to do. I think that's like what's most needed in the world right now. And so now my movement helping me to do that, helping me to get more and more girls and kids. help me help
That's
them.
great. That's great. And the funny thing is that there's not, even though we have so many different people in this world that have gone through so many different things, a lot of people don't turn around and stop and say, let me pull somebody else with me. Let me gather people with me and let me take them with me. You know, we can help each other get to wherever we want to go, whatever the next phase is. Not many people are motivated like that to do that. So can you tell me, was there somebody in your life somewhere along the line that turned around and said, hold on, Laura, let me pull you over here. Let me enlighten you on this thing. And if it was, could you please tell me about that experience?
For me, I was a child who fell through every crack in life. I went to therapy when I was a young girl, probably about 11 or 12, and I was in therapy till I was about 17. When I became pregnant, I got out. Me being in therapy, I say, gave me the lifestyle I have now, because when I started going to therapy, I heard it's not your fault, which that's when I think kids tend to act out, because they realize, oh, it was never my fault. And then they are, angry at life, because what has life given me? And so, they start to act out. So I think therapy is what I can say is my success, is my therapy. But I went through it as a child. It didn't really help me until my older, as I go older, after kids. As a matter of fact, it probably was in my 30s that I really realized what therapy had done for me, because it pretty much showed me the right ways. My choice may have been off. I knew my choices were wrong or right. I chose those things. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of people these days, is we don't look at our choices no more. We just kind of act. Some of us feel forced into that decision, but I think that definitely made me who I am, is the therapy that I went through as a child. But as I say, I fell through all kinds of cracks growing up, so I pretty much did my own life lessons. I always asked why. I've always been very analytical. I've always wondered why I was personally going through the things that I was going through. I think that a lot of times we tend to want to learn from others, but without asking ourselves why, it's a choice. We all have to realize that our choices we make, that's why.
Wow. And now that's another thing that most people don't do. They don't take ownership. Like you just said, they don't take ownership, accountability, or responsibility. They don't take it,
No.
and that stops you from growing, not being able to say, okay, let me see my portion in this. Because we can all yell, woe is me, look what they did to me, oh, this person, that, and the other. We always want to take the blame and put it someplace else. But as you said, what happens is that when you do that, you don't give yourself an opportunity to grow.
No,
and you have
you
to
don't.
be able to take that accountability. And I like that, So if I can ask you, through all of the things that you went through, because you said it took years for you to get to the point of saying, wait a minute, I got this stuff inside of me, and these are nuggets that I can use. So why did that happen? What experience helped you to get to the point that I have the answers in here? I could do this. You said it took you years from the time that you were 17, and then it was not until your 30s. What happened in your 30s that made that light bulb come on?
I think you just grow. It's in my next book. It's going to be a generational book. I'm going to have all the answers for our generational gaps, I swear. I swear it's a generational thing. I've always said my older sister's generation shaped my generation shaped my little sister's generation, and so on. And then there's my daughter's generation. She's, going to be 24. So it's like, well, her generation is getting better. I say the generations nowadays are stronger inside. they're healed more. Now, we'll get on that subject later because it could be fake, could be false healing, insecurity that's disguised falsely. We all use a blanket. That's a whole nother topic of my book. We all use that blanket of denial. We don't talk about things. We don't share things. We don't do that because we're in that blanket. And if we tell on ourselves, then we're out of that blanket.
Right.
But if we don't, we're in that blanket, and then we're one of them. And if we don't tell, then no one else tells. But we all know we have that secret, So it's like it's good to just tell on yourself. It's okay. You're still going to be liked. It's the person that you are within inside that people really enjoy. People see things, too. We just keep it quiet, and that's not okay. We need to stop doing that.
That is so powerful for me, and it's so true. I'm always telling my husband I love the idea of being transparent because that transparency corrects myself. It helps me to be able to correct myself, and it's important that we're able to do that, that we're able to say, oh, that was really not very nice what I did or that I said, and probably could have did that differently. But that transparency of self, to self and for self, helps you to grow beyond that point, and it helps you stay conscious of the things that you do and that you say, and most of all, how to treat people. That's something else that I heard you talking about, because so far the impact that you're trying to have and that you're having on people is what you can offer them and how you can help them and push them to their next level, which is something that a lot of people don't do either. We tend to live in a very selfish place. This world is selfish. It's all about me, I. So when you find somebody that's saying, I want to help them, I don't have to know them, I just want to help them, it's a wonderful, refreshing thing. It really is, especially if you've gone through some stuff. I think that maybe that helps you to be that way. What do you think?
I think that I was an unnoticed child growing up, so I see unnoticed people in life, and that definitely makes me want to tell them that they're noticed. A lot of people, though, walk around hungry, and that word, a lot of people know, they walk around desperate for attention. That kind of energy is not the kind of energy that I'm going to just give good energy to, but I see people who really need the attention, like they've had such a bad life. People throw baggage on people every day. It's really gotten out of hand. And so I try not to. I mean, it takes some practice, and that's what the movement is about. I wouldn't send no women out there to help others that didn't have a clean closet. So we ourselves have to look at our own decisions. And all I say to all my girls is, I analyze character traits. Read the book. I mean, the whole website is about character traits. We want to end certain character traits that are preying upon our women, like the fast cash lifestyle. That's one of the major things that the movement is trying to end. Right.
So what I'd like to do right now, and this is really good. I mean, I'm really enjoying this, and this is great. So at this particular point, because we're talking so much about our lives and what we give out, I would like to play a little song for us right now. We're going to take a quick break, and right now we're going to listen to Ash B. This is a great song, and it's called My Life. You're tuned in to Raw But Real 613.
So many things going on inside my life. So many things I wish I can turn into right. See where I'm from, it's not that easy to survive. Every day another murder, another homicide. But I believe in me, and I believe I will succeed. just another sister out here trying to make it. And being real, I'd rather die before I try to fake it. And I'ma keep reaching for my destination. It's gonna be hard cause the world is full of temptation. But I ain't scared cause my daddy taught me how to face it. And I'll be standing here ready for any situation. And I won't back down from nothing, that's a promise, baby. No, I won't back down from nothing, that's a promise, baby. And I'll be standing here ready for any situation. And I won't back down from nothing, that's a promise, baby. I love my homies to the hood and my closest to the street. I'm so tired of seeing caskets, all I wanna see is peace. Lord, please, won't you take me out this struggle shit? Make me a better woman, help me get hella rich. But still I thank the Lord for my blessings every day. Just to wake up in the morning, just to see my mama's face. Lord, please, won't you take me out this struggle shit? Make me a better woman, help me get hella rich. So many things bringing joy inside my life. My hopes and dreams, I prayed about them every night. I made my mind up, I'm not gonna give up this time. I came too far to quit, won't stop until I'm satisfied. And I'ma keep the faith in me. The faith in me makes me believe that I can do anything I put my mind to. And I can be anything that is destined to be. And this young girl full of integrity. Got to perfection, God won't ever get the best of me. Intelligent, mama taught me how to be a lady. If it's relevant, then that's what I do, so I can like my homies to the hood and my closest to the street. I'm so tired of seeing caskets, all I wanna see is peace. Lord, please, won't you take me out this struggle shit? Make me a better woman, help me get hella rich. But still I thank the Lord for my blessings every day. Just to wake up in the morning, just to see my mama's face. Lord, please, won't you take me out this struggle shit? Make me a better woman, help me get hella rich. Lord, please.
That was Ash B with My Life. This is Raw But Real 613. And we're here this evening with book author Laura Thomas. She wrote the book Emotional Hustler, and she's also the founder and coordinator of the Free Movement. And it's a woman's movement that she just opened it up to our little gents. So this is really fantastic. We've been talking about some really good stuff. I mean, some things about ourselves that we need to pay attention to, you know, and what we're willing to offer to the world, you know, and what we're willing to open ourselves up to as well. So before we went on break, you know, Laura, you were talking about your experiences and how you were in therapy for a few years. Do you mind at this particular point sharing with the listeners, why did you go into therapy? What was the purpose of you being there?
Okay. I talk about it all in my book, so I'm not telling nothing new. Okay, so I was abused as a child from like the age of 3 years old till 12 years old, and I was sexually abused, and I was emotionally hustled. Most people tend to think that sexual abuse is kind of angry or forceful. Well, there's so many different forms, and emotional abuse is one of them. And so I was emotionally hustled as a child and sexually abused up until about the age 12. I went through therapy from, about 11. So I went through therapy from like 11 till 17. And for the first couple years of therapy, I acted out really bad. My mom had to quit her job a couple of times because there was so many of us going in and out of court. So I acted out when I was told it was not my fault. But then, you know, growing up through that, you continue the process. You continue to going through and being healed. And a lot of my the women I look up to were counselors at a very young age too. My mom and the counselors, of course, were very separate. My mom, I say when I get angry, I turn into my mother, and these therapists never showed anger. So it was, very different. So I looked up to a lot of my therapists, which made me analyze my own therapists to wonder what their lives were about, what they were keeping secret, I knew at a young age to live two different lives. One of me being okay every day, going to school, being a normal girl, and then one at night, worrying about if I can get a whole night's sleep. So, that kind of a life definitely, as a child, it gives you adult behaviors and adult aneurysms that most kids don't have. Kids don't become analytical to a fault on human behaviors unless there's some kind of a traumatic experience that they go through to make it that way because of what's going on in their own lives.
Right. And a lot of times they can't differentiate between what they should. As young kids, you don't know what you should take ownership of. You said something a few seconds ago, and you said you was emotionally hustled.
Mm-hmm.
That was deep because it was real deep. So I want you to explain, why would you refer to it as being emotionally, I understand, but I'd love to hear you explain this, the emotional hustle, the word emotional hustle. How did you feel that, and how did you take that term to articulate that feeling?
Well, it would be like, let's just say around Christmas time. I'll give you a light emotional hustle that families do to their kids every day. Well, a lot. Christmas time, we know times are tough. We still have bills. We have, responsibilities to pay things on time, and we can't always get our kids what we want to get them. So we tell them, oh, you're going to get something good from Santa this year, or I'm going to get you something really good, or I'm going to get you what you want, but we know we might not be able to do that. So our kids will be really good and obedient and everything all December long just to get that. Well, come Christmas time, if you don't have that present under the table, under the tree, and you look at your kid's face, they may be very humble themselves, and they may be like, oh, okay, well, maybe we couldn't afford it, but maybe they won't know that,
Right.
That is kind of like what emotional hustlers do. They tell you things that would make you dread otherwise, and so you have to participate. So, like, for instance, if I was told as a child, if you tell, they're going to rip the family apart. All your brothers and sisters are going to be taken away. You're never going to see your mom again. Those kind of things will tear into that child emotionally. So they will oblige. They will not look. They will not ask questions. They will do as they're told because they don't want to be the one person that's ripping that family apart. So that's what I would say as far as it's very simple, and I think about that, and why I say with the whole Christmas thing is because we all do it. It's just emotional hustle, not sexually abuse. That's definitely, I'm hoping nobody ever does, but emotional hustle, we all do it. We just don't think of it that way. And if you're giving a half truth, a lie by omission, whatever it is, you're emotionally hustling somebody for what? High hopes, financial gain, whatever it is.
Wow. And that's true, and it's funny because you're right. We all have some portion in that, that whole, if you love me, you'll do. I can't tell you how many times those phrases are used. If you love me, you'll do this. And don't you care about my feelings? And so, yeah, it's definitely an emotional hustle. And it's funny because as you were talking, my mind went back to when I was a child. And it was a lot of emotional hustling going on. I used to call it manipulation, but that's what it is. We're manipulating those who are weaker than we are, and it's like bullying us, emotionally bullying us, hustling us, and being manipulative. And it's not very good, especially with young children. And the thing about it, where I work at, I deal with a lot of children. It's alternative schools only. And sometimes I go where the children are locked up in juvenile, hall and so forth. And a lot of the children are in group homes and everything, and they've accepted so much as a way of life. It's like it's every day, and this is just how it is. And they've accepted this. And I heard a young lady say the other day, it's just normal. And then I heard another guy say, but what is normal? So it's sort of odd, what we deem individually as normal and why we deem those things as normal. But I think it goes back to not being able to change a situation, so you just accept it. When you don't have the power to change it, you accept it.
A lot of us are afraid. A lot of people out there don't admit to nothing. I'll be the first to say it right now. That is my one thing. I don't lie. I don't lie at all. I'm horrible at lying, but if I ever lie, I'm dying with that lie. I will not tell you that lie. I will not tell nobody that lie. I will never admit to it. And I'm a very humble person. I'm a very nice person. But I will tell you that right now. And I will never do no wrong to nobody. But I have that in me. I'm capable of that. So what does that tell you for people who are not even good at lying, who continue to lie? Some people aren't good at lying and they still will continue to lie. And it's like, okay, they're telling you the sky is green and it's obviously not. And they just are going to keep going with it. And some people are going to do that. And you got to realize that. Some people are never going to admit it. So you can call people on their actions, but some people will not admit their actions, will not admit to what they do.
Right.
So it's like a lot
it's
of fight.
funny because people will argue their own lie, and they know that they're lying, but they're upset because you know they're lying. It's just funny how the minds of people work. It's really funny. But I want to ask you also, speaking about the free movement, and you said that some of the women might have assignments. What would some of those assignments consist of?
Well, okay, so we have elite models who are our models who can brave all weathers in bikinis and stuff like that, who will be like our glitter models and our paint models or whatever. I don't know what the future holds, but elite models are like wow type models, okay? And then we have chick flickers, and those are like our paparazzi. A lot of girls want to be the chick flickers because we pay for the pictures, and the assignments would be whatever we take you on to take those pictures, and we want those pictures. That way we don't have to pay a photographer, and if it's something you want to do, we have people. Now, I say it's a girl movement, but I do have I do have a few special men in the business, but one, his name is Jarvis, and he did my book cover, and he is awesome, and he's very good at sharing his knowledge. All of my girls and Jarvis is very good at sharing what they know. Like Rosemary's my model cover of my book, and she's one of my elite models. And I know Jarvis and her do work together. So, all of the girls in the movement are able to go wherever. It's just we provide them with opportunity. Models, motivational speakers. If you have a story, I wrote a book. I'm not an author. I'm a storyteller. I want to give women a voice. I want to tell them, if you're in the movement, we will do your book. You'll get a percentage of the royalty checks because it's your story. And I believe in, good karma, which is another thing we need to practice too. But yeah. So there's a lot of assignments. Definitely a lot. I would like to travel with my girls to different areas. I'm from Sacramento, born in Merced. I know a lot of character traits because I've spoken with thousands of people and analyzed character traits all of my life. But, I'd like to venture out to different areas and learn what different atmospheres, what kind of are in different atmospheres, different areas, different spectrums of the world.
Wow. And that's true. Where we are, it's funny because it's true. Where we are will definitely dictate the things that we eat, believe in, how we sleep, where we sleep. It dictates everything to us. Your geographical area has a lot to do with the decisions that you make about your own personal life, such as in the eastern part of the world, China, Vietnam, all those places, especially places like Vietnam and Korea and those places there, they feel like, and I was just watching this on TV today, like roaches are a delicacy. They deep fry them, eat them like somebody over here would eat like French fries. We wouldn't think about doing that. I saw a special on TV where they actually, in their market, they're actually selling rats and stuff like that, and cats and dogs. They're selling them in their market. We would never think about doing anything like that, but that's the geographical area that they're in. It's crazy, but it's true. Mm-hmm. So at this time, we have a couple of callers on the line. I don't know if anybody would like to ask you a question or would like to comment on anything, but I just want the listeners to know that if you do want to say something, ask a question or comment, all you have to do is press *1, and I'll be able to see your hand raised, and then we'll ask you, if you want to come on the show, it'll be fine. But until then, how about we go to another brief break for right now? You have tuned in to Raw But Real. This is your host for tonight, Tlssah, and I'm talking to a real woman, and her name is Laura Thomas. So glad that you're here, Laura. We're going to listen to a song now by Kelly Price, and it's called It's My Time.
1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. It's my time to rise. It's my time to shine. It's my time to live. It's my time to fly. It's my time. It's my time. I can see it. I can feel it. Time has come now to reveal it. I've been waiting for a long time, gotta do it, and won't let nothing hold me down, gotta do it, because I may not get another chance, I believe it, if I want it, I can have it, I believe it, done with falling, done with losing, I can do it, I think I'll tell myself again, I can do it. And I'm not gonna stop till I win, 'cause it's my time to rise. Hey, it's my time to shine. Oh, it's my time to live.
everybody. You have tuned in to Raw But Real 613. And I'm your host for tonight, Tlssah. And we have with us Laura Thomas. You know, she's talking some good stuff, and I hope everybody is listening carefully. You know, it's very exciting to have somebody on the show that's able to articulate and you're able to feel what she's gone through and where she's taken it, because she doesn't keep you in a place of feeling sorry. She takes you to a place of triumph. And I remember in one of the advertisements that I did, I talked about the fact that you're not just a survivor, Laura, but you are a conqueror. And what do you think about those words, not just being a survivor, but being a conqueror?
It makes me think about all those doubters out there that don't think that one person can start something. It's like, I may not be able to start it alone, but I can surely grab all my friends, and my friends will grab their friends, and their friends will grab their friends, and it will become something. Like, I'm not going to give up. I am like the Joan of Arc. Like, I'm on a lone quest, but I've found amazing people who feel the same way that I do, and they see what is going on. They see that character traits are playing a big part in, you know, a lot of their lives. And if we don't all come together and be a strong force together, then, you know, giving women opportunity to go other places than where you can be picked up for sex trafficking because you want to make that fast cash lifestyle. You know, I've found a lot of women who could go down that road, and I found a lot of women who have not gone down that road but have been in positions like that, and they have answers how not to go down that wrong road. You know, like, I've talked to some of my models who've actually, the look on their face when I say, you know, talk to women who are brand new into modeling about the photographers that want you to do nude pictures. You know, how they talk perversely, how you could get out of that. You know, a lot of girls don't realize this industry for women in general is just really bad.
And I like what you just said, because it's that thing of knowing that you have a voice, knowing that you have a voice, and how whether or not that voice is powerful or weak really depends on you. You have a voice. You cannot just only say no, but you can give the alternatives yourself. You know, so my question now is that if a woman finds herself in a situation where she's supposed to be taking these pictures, and the photographer decides, well, you know, could you just take off a little bit more, and he wants to make a proposition to her, what would be your advice to that woman?
I will introduce her to Rosemary, who is one of these models who can tell her own personal experiences, how she handled that, because I myself have not been, I when I was younger, I didn't have the courage that Rosemary does, or some of my other elite models have. I didn't have that, so I couldn't tell somebody, you know, what they're going to look for if they go out and do modeling, but I know that does happen. And hearing stories of it and following models on Instagram and all that, and they will talk about it. They'll share that with each other, but that's only in that realm. It's not for some new girl who just wants to take pictures and get paid for it. You know, it needs to be out there, and the free movement will give all girls an outlet. If you want to do something, we have someone to talk to you about that, so you stay safe.
Right. And that's the thing, too, the information, being able to have, and I love, you have the information that you're able to give to them, and I love the fact that you have numbers, because there is strength in unity. There's power in unity. And when you come to a certain place and people see that you're not standing alone, it speaks volume. It's powerful for your own position, where I'm not standing here by myself, you know, and a lot of us growing up, we stood by ourselves. So I heard you say that you didn't have that voice then. You wasn't brave enough then because nobody taught you how to be brave enough then. You know, it was hard to find a voice that you didn't know that you had. And I think that that's what happened to a lot of us when we were younger. We didn't even know we had a voice. We didn't know that we had an option. We didn't know that we could say no. You know, we didn't know. You know, but when we found that voice, we understood how powerful that voice is. So I love the whole movement that you have going from what I'm understanding, because it not only gives women opportunities, it gives them an opportunity to hear their own voices and to speak what they need to speak and to give out their power.
Yes. And everyone is different, and if I don't have an answer, someone else in the movement will have an answer, because style plays a very big important part of your character. What kind of character you are, style has a big part in that. And some people who are, you know, what they say, swagged out, and, you know, they got the nicer things, they want someone who is basically peasant. You know, you're a peasant, I'm not going to talk to you. That's how some people are. But I meet people who are so nice in every walk of life. So to say that is the only type of a trait, no, there's so many. I'm finding new traits all the time, by the way. There's, you know, you just got to talk to people. You never know what you would learn, especially senior citizens. Anyone on here over the age 60, I want to talk to you personally. I mean, senior citizens have a way. I mean, our older generation lived so differently. I would say simplicity, but totally in a different form. I mean, my grandparents would tell me they walked to the school in the snow with no shoes and all that. So I know the struggle. Yeah, I know the struggle was real, and I know that, you know, recession and all that was big. I know there was a lot more that we do not have now, that we're able to do now as human beings, that we weren't back then. But there wasn't like so much insecurity and self-loathing and the poor woe's me character trait. There wasn't so many descriptive, you know, dirty talkers, and, you know, it wasn't so universal. Like now it's like all around the world. All around the world's the same song. You heard that? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. All around the world.
And it's true. You know, it's like it doesn't change. It's like the same script, different cast. You know, it just keeps going. It just keeps going, you know. And to have something as powerful as the free movement, I think is great, again, because there's strength in numbers. And not only is there strength in numbers, but when you find yourself by yourself, if you have a loud voice and you understand your voice and you know that your voice is powerful, then you can stand until you get to, you know, until you get to your numbers. So I think that that's powerful. And a lot of women are not willing to do what you're doing because, and this is going to turn into a question for you. One of the things that I found for myself is that, and like you, there's a couple of things about me that I stand firm on. I'm not a liar. And I have a hard time digesting people that do lie. I have a hard time because my mind says I can't trust you if you can't tell the truth.
Yes.
And I'll automatically turn off or shut down because even if it's a lie from omission, it's a conscious omission. So for me, that's a huge factor. And the other thing, a lot like you as well, I will do anything to help people. You know, I used to bring homeless people home to my mother when I was a little girl and tell them, come on, she's going to feed you. And she would be so upset with me and threaten to kill me if I brought somebody else home. The next day I'm bringing home a homeless person, a cat, a dog, anything else that I could find that I thought was hungry. So my question is the fact that in all of that, I found that no matter how nice and open and willing I was to be friendly and to show myself friendly to people, I find that I had such a hard time making acquaintances. I'm not even going to say friends because my circle is so tiny till I can't even say the word friends. But I had a hard time making acquaintances and to be able to find a spot to fit in. Here you are with this movement that is full of women, and they probably all have different kinds of ideas and probably come from different places. What is it that you find so in common with these women that you're able to create an atmosphere that allows them to work together without ripping it apart?
Because I think well, a lot of my circle of women around me are girls I've known when I used to teach. I was a teacher, and the mothers would wonder where their kids were, and so they would come to my centers and and meet me. So I have some mothers. I have even kids. I go into grocery stores or into clothing stores, and I see kids that I used to teach that are grown up now behind the register. So it's like I meet people every day that I've taught, and I bring them back. I'm like, come on, come into my circle. I give business cards out all the time. I'm waiting. And don't get me wrong, not all girls run to this movement. This is a new movement. This is something that has not ever been done. No women want to get together because we don't trust each other no more. And, so I've found the people cared about. And I told them, if you know people you care about, you see them out there trying to get it, they're good people, they just want to make it in the world, bring them to our circle. Let's build the strong foundation. And I open my door up for everybody. When the movement is huge, I guarantee you they're going to fall out the cracks of the big old vessel we're going to create. Some girls are going to come and finally say, yes, I'm ready. And I'm going to welcome everybody. I've been in Starbucks passing out business cards to all these little girls, telling them, I'm doing the video, I'm doing this. And, and if they take me seriously or not, who cares? They may remember a year down the line when my movement has grown in numbers so much. They may want to get in on it then. I don't care. We have no limits. We have no limits. We have no a number we need to reach. We want to just help everybody. We're not trying to keep everybody. We're trying to help you get on and get on. We're trying to correct anything wrong in your life. What's making you the character trait that you are right now? That's the thing. What is making you unhappy? What do you need in your life? Let's sit down. Let's assess this. There's so many resources out there that give you help after the fact. You need your energy bill paid. Someone out there got it. But there's no there's plenty of training and schooling, but there's no prevention beforehand. Like, oh, don't go down that road. You're going to, get your electricity turned off is what's going to happen eventually. But, there's nothing there to discuss it with the girls. Like, I want to know what each and every girl's issue is. What do you want to be in life? If you just want to be a model, I want to help you get there. If you want to be a photographer, if you want to be all of the above, a go-getter, a promoter, a recruiter for the movement, if you want to do everything within the movement, you are a gold mine, and I'm going to get you busy from day one. That's basically what we achieve to do. And hopefully this movement gets so big that every girl finds an opportunity. We do crafts. I know how to do all kinds of different arts and crafts.
Wow. This is really great because it allows you to cater to all kinds of women from all kinds of backgrounds, and it's very, very interesting. It's very, very good. And that's how come it works. It works because you're not single-minded. It works because you're not tunnel-visioned, and this is fantastic. So I know we've been talking about the the movement and the free movement, and it's been fantastic. But I know if there's another side of you, and of course I'm speaking about Emotional Hustler, your book. So I definitely am so eager to get into talking to you about Emotional Hustler. Are you ready for that?
Of course.
So before we go on a break, could you just quickly tell us, why did you write this book?
I was an emotional hustler at a very young age. I didn't know what it was doing to people until I was probably almost in my late 20s. And that I've held this book for 20 years, and that was the whole book, was character traits. I came up with 50 women character traits and 50 men character traits that I analyzed for over 10 years that I exotic danced in strip clubs in Sacramento.
Wow. Hello?
Yeah.
So from just your experiences, you were able to take, and the fact that, as you said, you searched out these character traits and you were able to zoom in on them, study them, and you placed these inside of your book?
Yes. That I didn't have a title for the book. I didn't have a beginning or an end. It was basically my thoughts on paper from like 20 to 26. And then I got into some trouble, and when I went to jail, and it was guilt by association, which I didn't think was a crime. I didn't think it was serious, but believe me, everybody, guilt by association is not a joke, and yes, it is a crime, and it's a very serious crime. I won't tell you guys what I did, but guilt by association, end of story. And I pretty much got out and went to my daughter's home. I was on ankle monitor, and I met my other half. I met my rock. I met someone who made me a stronger force, and they told me, finish your book. You know, I told them I was holding on to it, and then came my beginning, which the book starts out with me in jail, and I speak about, you won't know anything about finding your soulmate until you found them. Till you find your right path. Yeah, when you get on your right path in life, you'll find your soulmate. Your soulmate is on that path. If you're not on the right path, you're not going to find the right man. You're going to meet a lot of in-betweens, guys that seem to be him but are not him. You have to be on the right life path, the one your soul gave you before you were born. If anyone even believes in that, I believe that we all make our choices before we even breathe our first breath of air. Well, that's at least what I believe. So everybody can believe whatever they want, but
it's okay. Yes, and I truly feel the same way, that until you get on that path, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Until you get on that path, it's on that path that you'll find everything that you need to find. And I totally agree. You know, when you have that soulmate with you, it helps to complete and helps you to go to the next level, because you're both are pulling each other to that next level. So on that note, my husband interviewed a young man, T03, and who really is a fantastic lyrics. And his music is great. His lyrics are powerful. You know, and my husband interviewed him. I was surprised when I found out that he did a song in representation of Emotional Hustler. And I listened to it, and I was like, wow, this song is good. Well, my husband was like, because he tells me all the time, you just don't like this kind of music. But I loved the song. I love the song because it's a powerful song that definitely gives some volume to what you're saying and what Emotional Hustler is all about. I loved it. And at this time, I would love to play it. You ready for this?
Oh, everybody's been waiting to hear this, so yes, I
so
am.
We're going to play this song. We're going to play this song right here on Raw But Real 613. TO3 did this song and put this song together for Emotional Hustler for our special guest tonight, Laura Thomas. Again, you have tuned into Raw But Real, and this is Emotional Hustler.
The Wheel Man.
Working with emotions make you an emotional hustler. Working with emotions make you an emotional hustler. Working with emotions make you an emotional hustler. Clocking all these customers. Clocking all these customers. Working with emotions make you an emotional hustler. Working with emotions make you an emotional hustler. Yeah. Working with emotions make you an emotional hustler. Yeah. Clocking all these customers. Yeah. Clocking all these customers. Yeah. Woke up in a jail cell with no bail. Yeah. No visitations or no emails. Yeah. Watch me paint this picture with some details. Hey. Not about me, but about our females. Hey. What they go through if they need help. Hey. Don't let them change you. You gotta be yourself. Ay. All you got is your kids, girl, nobody else. With the same stuff, that's when she knocked herself. Ay. Hit that strip club, yeah, that was that only option. Shit started rocking when that booty popping. 10 different men with 10 different problems. Some out of town niggas trying to throw some dollars. Wife at home, yeah, with a missing wallet. That nigga's rent, now she on deposit, yeah. She look around slipping, trying to see who got it, yeah. She Vince Carter, all down that nigga wallet, yeah. Loyal girl, baby, and she keep it silent, yeah. Still put his hands on her when she say stop it, try to show off in front of all his player partners, yeah. Like a man, fuck nigga, you a lack of profit, yeah. True story. My name is TO3, and I wrote this song after a book that was proposed to me from a women's organization. A lot of us don't know what our younger females is going through, but it's our job to let it be known, you know? If we ain't gonna do it, who is? Some of us got daughters, some of us got aunties, mamas, that's all going through this right now, you know? How you feel about it?
You have tapped into Raw But Real 613. I'm your host for tonight, Tlssah, and we have special guest here, Laura Thomas. So at this time, I would like to also extend to all of our listeners, if you'd like to make a comment or ask a question, please just press #1, and I'll see your hand raised, and we'll click you in. So, Laura, before we talk about Emotional Hustler, because I can't wait to get into this, would you do me a favor and just tell all of our listeners how they're able to contact you if they decided they want to know more about the free movement and they want to be able to contact the free movement? Tell them now how they'll be able to follow you and contact you.
Okay. Well, I definitely started an Instagram. I've never been on Instagram. I was a dancer. I didn't think I needed, social media, but I've learned it to be a social marketing tool as well. So I'm on Instagram. You guys can find me the Free Movement 2015. I am doing my whole journey on there. I do 3 posts a day on the character traits, my movement, and the book, and all that I'm doing. You also can go to thefreemovement.net. We are empowering all motivated women who search for recognition in every industry. We are currently about to start workshops to allow girls to just come in and learn what we're doing, get involved in discussions about lives, what we deal with every day, different character traits that we're aware of that are in our circle. So you could go to thefreemovement.net. All my information is on my website, my phone number, my email address, as well as the Free Movement 2015 on Instagram. I do have a Facebook, Laura Thomas. My author name for the book is Lola Wants, and the reason why I put Lola Wants is because of the song, Whatever Lola Wants. Yes, that's been a emotional hustling song of mine that I used to like. So I thought that would be perfect for that. I want to do kid books as well, and I will address that in my name, Laura Thomas, but I didn't want that to mix up with my kid books, my emotional hustling book.
Great. Great. So you heard it right here. She let you know how to reach the Free Movement and how to reach her. Make sure that you follow her and check her out. You know, it'd be very important, especially if you're a young girl and you sort of kind of don't know what you want to do, but you know you need to do something. Make sure that you reach out and you contact her. And Robert Real will be posting things about Laura as she continues on her journey as well. And remember, you've reached Robert Real 613, and you can follow us on Facebook as well, Instagram, and on our YouTube. And, of course, if you have a show idea, questions you want to ask about any show that we've posted, please go to our email address and leave a comment or leave a question or a show idea there as well. And that's robertreal613@yahoo.com. So the song is fantastic. I love what he was saying, and I understood, after talking to you, it's so easy to follow, why he was saying what he was saying in his song. It's a powerful song. So, emotional hustler. I heard you say in the beginning about that emotional hustling that we all do every day, without even realizing what it is that we're doing. So tell me about this book. Tell me about these character traits that you found and how come these traits are so important. And just tell me what's so important about these traits and why you felt that you needed to write about it.
Well, most important that I noticed was the traits we were losing. We're losing a lot of traits because of the traits I talk about in my book. In the back of my book, there is a section that is called Traits Under the Threat of Extinction or General Losses. And those are traits like patience and respect and morals, self-respect, value of life's purpose, positivity, the glass half empty view. The traits that we used to have are becoming extinct now, and now we're more faced with fast-paced hustling traits. Like Mr. Contagious, Battle of the Brains, Hip to the Game Man. Those are just some men traits. And then we have women traits out there that I based off of a lot of the women traits that I encountered during stripping. But these traits are the same outside. The hustler lady, the talented lady, exotic lady, the mommy, out of control girl, the advocate, the drugged up girl, the chick who supports losers, women who hate their jobs. I've met a lot of strippers who used to cry in the dressing room that they really did not like the strip clubs, but they were there every day. The money was, I guess, satisfying enough for them, but it's just a lot of these traits that I met in the club. These traits exist outside of the club. Whether it be a battle of the brains because he knows all the tricks that the strippers do. He also knows all the tricks that the alcoholics at the bars do too, the girls that are just there to get free drinks. He also knows the tricks about the girls who want free dinners, and he uses that to his advantage. That battle of the brain guy that's dealt with every type of hustling woman out there, and now he knows that is called the battle of the brains man, and he specifically tortures girls because he will insinuate how things are going to be because he's dealt with a trait that you may be familiar with or may not, just because he has that baggage. So it's all about character traits. I realized that these traits exist outside of the club. My daughter even said, she said when she read my book, she said, "Mom, I'm never going to go in a strip club. Those guys, those guys are so weird, Mom." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Those guys go for the same cheap gas because they live right down the street from you, and they pump the gas at the same time you probably do. You just don't know that he is that trait because you're not in the club seeing how he behaves in a club, but he's outside of the club.
Wow.
They don't live in the club."
Wow, that's really deep because that's true. And it's good to have something to associate those characteristics with. And you're absolutely right. There are so many that seem like they're going to be extinct, and you're definitely right on the respect, self-respect. Those things seem like they're just fading out as the days go on. It's just, you just see less and less and less of those things that we grew up on as being strong values.
Yeah.
They're no longer even important now. My husband did a show. It was TL3 that he did the show with, and TL3 said to my husband, he said, "Where the big mamas at?" He said, "The big mamas are in the strip clubs. The big mamas are in the clubs because they're so young now." He said the big mamas have their grandkids, and they're in the club with their daughters because the daughters are young having babies as well. He said, so the big mamas are no longer the older women. These women are in their 30s, and they're having grandchildren. So there's no big mama experiences for these children coming up now. And they were the ones that kept the respect going. Like, you cover yourself up, and they kept that going. But I thought that was such a powerful thing that he said. And it's on his interview that he did, but I thought that was so powerful. I was like, wow, that's so true, because it brings you to a place of not just enlightenment, but it brings you to a place of wow. Like, wait a minute, that's true, that was right there. And that's what you just did for me when you begin to talk about these character traits that we don't really pay attention to, but it's true. And every person, you have these things going on or not going on. You see some more powerful in others than you see in some other people, and less in other people. But the thing to pay attention to, I like what you said to your daughter, he's not just in the strip club, he's pumping gas down the street. He's the guy driving the school bus. She's the teacher in front of the classroom. And these are the things that are scary, which means that these are things that we have to take notice of. And I like the fact that that's what you're doing. You're causing the mind to open up and say, look, I got to pay attention to this. This is important. I mean, this was important, that we understand what you're saying, so that we can pay attention to it, and somebody could teach their child that. So if that was the impact that you wanted, trust me when I tell you, you sure got it over here, because we don't talk about the things that we should talk about. Our children don't live in these houses that are fortified and you can't break in. These are glass houses.
Yeah. Your kids will just go to school and learn it. They'll learn it off TV. What we are making so important is so irrelevant to life. We don't, they have all these Instagram influencing things going on, but it's like even those are risk takers. There just was on the
Mhm.
news about some young kids that were like daredevils just passed away, 3 of them. I mean, it's like it's a crazy world, but no one tells anyone the answer. It's like I know they say you're not supposed to just tell the game, you know, you're not supposed to just share it, but it's like why not, dude? There's so many idiots out there trying to play the game part. They're trying to be down. They just want to be accepted, and they're getting taken advantage of, and we as human beings are just watching it all go down. It's like, don't you feel dirty at the end of the day not saying nothing about all the stuff you witness all day, about all the bad character traits, bad behaviors, people saying things out of line, out of place, road rage? I mean, don't you just feel sick at the end of the day just not saying nothing, not, but then again, it's like you don't want to be that one person that gets shot because you stepped your foot into something and somebody is like,
Mhm.
no, I'm going to make an example out of you. So, I understand it's kind of, I understand why we don't do it, but, it's like, man, read your situations. I mean, try and not surround yourself by all that, because it's like we are all playing, we're all actresses and actors of this whole world,
Mhm.
this whole life. We're doing it to each other, we're doing it to our
Mhm.
family members, we're doing it
Mhm.
to our significant others, thinking that they don't see it, but we all see it. I pay attention. In my book,
Mhm.
I mention all that I analyze. And I said like 30 things. What do you analyze? Do you really pay attention? If you don't pay attention, you're missing a lot of stuff. The
Mhm.
world is just passing over you, and you're just what? Happy to be blissfully naive and ignorant? Like, what? I don't understand why some people do that, but I'm here to open eyes. I'm here to bring awareness. Not saying I'm like, I've been following, because I have a book out about stripping. I've been following strippers. Who is out there? Cardi B. Let's get on her for a second. Cardi B, I like her truth. Her her interviews that I've watched are very similar to my book. Very similar. She's very honest. She's very deep with it. She talks about how it's, but she doesn't give all the secrets because, she's famous. She sings and all that stuff. But, there's only one other lady that has done a book of stripping, and it was pictures. She took pictures. So, of course, you would assume it's pictures of the girls, beautiful, beautiful pictures of the strip clubs. I'm sure the strip clubs really love it. Strip clubs don't love my book. The girls are avoiding it. You know how many reviews? I need dancer reviews. I want a dancer to review my book. Nothing. Nothing. It's all on deaf ears. It's like, I don't know. I do talk about hookers working in the clubs nowadays. I do not condone that. That's why I got out of dancing, because it used to be an art. And when girls with extra on their minds came in and the management said, okay, I left. I hear it's worse now, and maybe that's why I know strip clubs are reaching out. Maybe that's why I know dancers are reaching out. But I'm here. The book is done. It's the truth. I danced for well over 11 years, and I'm being very honest. I'm telling on myself. A lot of what I wrote about in the book is about me. It's about what I did, my hustles. Every man hustle in there is one I encountered personally. And I had trial and error with those customers: biters, lickers, gyrators, dirty talkers. I ran into my, oh my God, what a pervert. And then I went from what a pervert to I'm going to get all your money.
Mhm.
It's just the whole character trait thing is not a strip club thing. I knew that the stripping thing would get the interest of people because, sex sells. People want to know about the business. Reality TV is like super popular right now, but it's character traits. We all need to wake up. It's character traits that are kids are shooting kids because character traits are not in their own home are making them feel suicidal or gun happy. There's so much people going to their jobs and killing people at their jobs because of these character traits. So this book is all about character traits. And my brother told me he was the first one that read my book, and he said, your book made me feel like it was emotionally hustling me. And I think that was because I made him look at his own character traits. I never asked him that personally, but I'm assuming that's why. So, brother, if you're listening right now, I don't know if that's why you said that, but I think that was because I don't leave out any character trait.
It's something because it's true. When you become transparent yourself and you find a strong truth that helped you to propel from one level to the next, people can see that. And you said that in the beginning of the show when you talked about people could see. We can see, even the things that we don't discuss with other people, we see it. For whatever the reasons, there are things that we don't share with other people. It could be our loved ones. I had a friend a long time ago, and she just used to have a very brash way of talking, and she would just talk very brash to me all the time, and I really would ignore her. And one day she kept asking me, why you just take my mouth so much? And I was friends with her for like 14 years. And she was like, why did you just take my mouth? Why you don't ever say anything? And I said to her, because I value our friendship. Because if I did to you what you did to me, I don't think that you could take it. And I think that even in her brash way of speaking, that it was an emotional hustler. Because she felt like the more brash she was, she thought that she was scaring me into silence or submission. Until I said to her, no, it's because I know that you can't take what you dish out. And the funny thing was that we had one day to go from that conversation before I completely exploded on her. And, of course, she could not take it. And it's been like 4 years since I've spoken to her. And a lot of times I think that that's the issue. I think that we have developed a resistance. We learn to expect certain behaviors from certain people. And it's not that we accept them, but we just feel like, what's the point? Some people you just feel like, what is the point in even saying anything because this is what I'm going to get. So I like the idea of Emotional Hustler being a book. I love that because it gives people a free opportunity at their own whim to pick it up and read it. So let me see if I can find myself in there. And this is the thing, and it's for everybody that's listening. Look, nobody has to know that you're reading it, but read it. Because you might find something in there that will help you discover who you really are. That person that you're putting in the closet and pretending isn't there is really there. That person that you don't want anybody else to know, they already know. But it's now time for you to know yourself and to be able to come out and say, this is who I am. And to be all right with being that person, because one of the things I keep hearing you say, Laura, is the fact that I'm telling on myself. I'm uncovering my own self first, and in hopes of somebody else being bold enough to not just uncover yourself because somebody wants to be entertained by your story, but because I want to help somebody else. Because you want to be able to push these women to another level. Because you want to be able to bring a consciousness to even the men. Because if they read the book, they'll find themselves in there. So this is a great thing, and I love your whole approach. I love your whole idea for the movement, for the book. Everything just seems to be in such a great line, and I want to encourage you to please keep going. Please don't stop, because this is definitely something that is needed. We try so many different things, but the truth of the matter is that people are hiding behind their own masks. And you said something a little while ago about all of us being actors and actresses, and it's true. There used to be an old saying that the world is a stage, and it is, because we perform. Whenever the curtain goes up, and that's every day the sun comes up, we begin to perform however we need to perform to be able to get the things that we need to get.
Yeah. We go to work with the worst attitudes, and we just have to turn them around. I've been in a really horrible marriage, and I would wake up at 7 in the morning with no car because he would steal it every day, and I would have to go to work screaming with tears in my eyes, and 30 minutes later walking into a store buying crafts for all my ladies and my kids that I was going to teach throughout the day. And I had to be really happy and joyful and listen to them and give them guidance and help them with their crafts. And I was in turmoil. I was so not happy with my own life. And it's like, if we don't look at that, and it's like we don't eliminate things that don't make us happy, then we're going to have a really tough time in life if you don't make your circle small. Like you said, you made your circle small. That's good. That's good. My circle is small, but it is big. I accept everybody. I want to help everybody. But my friends are really few as well. I have a lot of friends that I really, really trust, and then, my significant other is the one that, and my child, of course. My child is, my goodness. I'll go to jail for her. Keep me. That is being recorded. I will go to jail for my daughter. Yes, I will.
And I clearly understand that. You are listening to Raw But Real 613. So, Laura, we're coming to the end of our show. So tell me one last thing that you want everybody to know. Where you want the minds to go at this particular point. And after you do that, please, one more time, tell everybody how to reach you.
Okay. Well, what I would like to get across is my success is making successes of all of my people in my movement. I have girls who want to start dispensaries, since that's something that is legal nowadays, and I will direct them to that area that they need to go to make it and remain it being a legal thing for them to do. Then I have some women who want to be DJs. I have 3 elite models who are very good DJs, and Rosemary is the cover of my book, and she is Vibrant Vibes. You guys could look up her. I will advertise for my girls all the time. The success in my girls are what is going to be my success. I will be happy to know that I'm sending women out there and they didn't have to find it a wrong way. Some of my girls are already getting it. Some of them are already doing stuff, but I want to set every girl down. So everyone's different. Anyone that comes into this movement, we're going to set you down and find out what you want to do. Not what your mom wants you to do, not what your dad or your boyfriend, what you want to do, what your dream was since day one. Why not bring it back? My dream of being a accomplished person, a book writer, whatever. I'm going to be 43 in a couple days, and my life is just now starting to be on track and go down the right path. It doesn't matter. There's no time limit. You just got to keep doing it. Don't give up. And you guys can follow me on Instagram, The Free Movement 2015. Laura Thomas on Facebook, and thefreemovement.net is my website. Research. I tell everybody, research. I research. I'm a big believer in research. If you don't research, you're not going to know nothing. Analyze everything. And that's it.
Laura, I want to tell you thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you. I really enjoyed our time here on the phone, and you know I'm going to call you as soon as we get finished with this. You have really inspired even me. I think that this is fantastic, and I just want to tell you again, thank you so much for being my special guest on tonight's show. This is Raw But Real 613, and I have been your host on tonight, Tlssah. You can reach us at Raw But Real 613 on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, and we're also on on YouTube. So please follow us on YouTube. We're Raw But Real 613. If you have a show idea, if you'd like to be a guest, or you have something you want to share or say, or a comment that you want to make about a show that we did, if you want to reach Laura and you didn't get her information, please contact us on Raw But Real 613 at yahoo.com. Thank you so much for tonight's show. And right now we're going to listen to Selena Johnson. And the name of her song is Only a Woman. And thank you all for tuning in to For Real 613.
For the sun, on top of my game, I stay strong. On the grind for the ones that I love. And did I mention it's that time of the month? Leaving work days, just getting started. Between the bills and these men, there's no end to the drama. Sometimes I'm at the point, feel like giving up. But if I don't take care of me, then tell me who will. Tell me. I don't think so. Yeah. That's why only only a woman. She's barely holding on. Out the trash. I'm tough, but I'm bruised. But I've gotten used to taking abuse. Can't be loyal, giving love and submission. Cause if he breaks out, I must assume the position. Working 12-hour days at a job that I hate. Just learning how to misplace all the pain. Tell me, I don't think so. She's bleeding.
has been Raw But Real 613. And again, I want to thank our special guest, Laura Thomas, and I want to thank all of our listeners. Please, you need to get this book, Emotional Hustler. If you don't know how to get it, please follow the instructions that Laura left you. Hit her up on Facebook, Laura Thomas. She's on Facebook. Hit her up. Let her know that you want this book so you can order one and she can get it to you. Please, thank you so very much for joining us on tonight. And remember, you can always follow Raw But Real 613 on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and you can hit us up on our email address, rawbutreal613@yahoo.com. I'm getting ready to go get my book, Emotional Hustler. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight.
This is you. This is future you in about 9 months. If you change, everything around you will too. The HVAC program at SBB College in Bakersfield can help you start your career in about 9 months. With hands-on training, flexible schedules, and job placement assistance, you can change what makes sense and start achieving your career goals. Change your position in about 9 months. Do it today. Call SBB College at 661-831-8017 to get started. Classes start soon.
This is you. This is future you. Nothing will change unless you do. Career training at SBB College in Bakersfield can make it easier for you to make that change. With hands-on training, flexible schedules, and job placement assistance, you can change your position and start achieving your career goals. Change what makes sense. Invest in yourself today. Call SBB College at 661-831-8017 to get started. Classes start soon.